Putin had managed to go all the way to Kiev in the first weeks of the war in 22, he would have gone straight on to other places. And, maybe he would have done, maybe he would have taken his time, maybe he wouldn't have done. And this is a very fine calculation that changes every week, let alone every year. My friends in Georgia, I thought, were wildly off the mark when they were believing that after 2008 they could get, for instance, either NATO membership or EU membership. And I thought that was completely unlikely, and I still think it's unlikely and almost certainly undesirable for Europe and for NATO, because you've got to be very careful, and obviously this is one of the issues with Ukraine and has been since the 90s, is, are you going to set up a tripwire to start World War III? And that's not a small thing to consider.
So what do you think the peace deal might look like? And what does the path to peace look like in Ukraine in the coming weeks and months?
I'd have thought it would be, regrettably, the Ukrainians ceding some territory in the east, and then making sure they rearm during whatever peace period comes afterwards.
And probably all 4 territories of Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhzhia, Kherson.
You couldn't lay any of that out because it has to be negotiated on. But I think that, and I think the ease with which non-Ukrainians are currently speaking about the Ukrainians ceding territory is concerning, because these territories include hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian citizens who do not want to live under Putin's rule, and people who have families in the rest of Ukraine, and much more. And I recently interviewed children who had managed to get out of the Russian occupied areas, and it's brutal for a Ukrainian to be growing up in that territory. So